Welcome back to the Jenna Julien Podcast.
Welcome back. We're here.
Yeah, but it's a special day.
Have no fear. Jenna and Julien Podcast is live right now at JennaJulienPodcast.com.
It's not live at all. It's recorded.
Live, streaming live, straight to your devices and things.
That's a lie.
We live.
We're not live.
Genuinely, though.
What?
People have asked us to go back to doing this live, but I don't think it would be the same.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I also, we would have to have a monitor because we do it on Twitch, right? So they would just be, in front of the camera, right?
I mean, logistically, it would be...
You record live from the side? Side angle.
No, logistically is easy, right?
Really?
You said, yeah, because we could set the main camera up as a source for OBS, and we just stream through OBS. But I just think the podcast itself, when I listen to podcasts, I'm in a different mood than when I'm listening to Twitch streams. Because I'm in the mood for both sometimes. Sometimes I want to just literally open up a Twitch stream, lock my phone, let the audio play, and just kind of hearing dumb live stuff. But then other times I want to hear a discussion that's not live.
Right.
That happened, that I know there's an end point.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, I find myself sometimes I'll watch the H3 podcast live stream, and I find that I listen to it, actively listen to it far less than if I watch a recorded episode.
Agreed. Yeah.
I think there's a difference between active listening when you're live and when it's recorded for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. I don't know why.
I don't know why. It's a special day, though, because
Why?
this podcast is coming out on Monday. For us right now, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
We just went out to dinner for Julian's birthday. And tomorrow's your birthday, April 17th.
Correct.
Happy birthday, Julian.
Thank you.
Aww.
Thank you.
I love hugs.
Hugs are good.
We smashed headphones.
We did smash headphones. Yeah, I don't know. I guess
How do you feel?
I feel normal.
You turned 26.
Yeah.
You're the same age now that I was when I met you.
That's interesting to think about.
Isn't it?
It is. Because I feel like if I were to have met you right now, I would have understood a lot better about I don't know, just where you were in life and I don't know. It's weird because I don't feel like a different person, but I feel like I'm living I'm in a different life right now. Because when I was 20, just the way I thought and the way I did things, I'm the same person.
Right.
But it's a whole different life. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's, yeah. No.
Are you excited?
Yeah. I thought, when we did the birthday podcast last year, when I was about to turn 25, didn't you say, or didn't someone say that 25 is the worst year?
Yeah, I forgot who said it. I'll have to go back and check in that podcast. But it was someone either in the comments or someone I had talked to personally that was Japanese and said that in Japan, it's 25 is considered the worst year. Tell me if I'm making that up.
Do you remember the root of that? Because I want to look that up.
No, I don't remember the root of that. And I also had said that 25 was a terrible year for me as well. And I feel like I know a lot of people that 25 was a terrible year. How was 25 for you?
It was a lot. It was, you know what I mean? It's hard to just give it a one-word answer. It wasn't a good year. It wasn't a bad year.
But it wasn't a cursed year like some people think it is.
No, I mean, I don't necessarily think there are certain curses that I would buy more into than something just so cut and dry as 25 is a bad year. Yeah, that's so weird. But I definitely feel like it was a testing year. It was a trying year for me.
It's a transitional age.
Yeah. And certain things happened in my life that I had to deal with for the first time as a 25-year-old. As I'm leaving 25, I look back on some of the things and I don't know. I just think I encountered certain things that I just hadn't before. I think death is one of them. I was really unfamiliar with death or losing anyone close to me. And I think that happens to everyone at some point. I don't think there's anything special about mid-20s.
No.
I think it happens just kind of because of circumstance, obviously. But I would say that's one of the big things. Also learning that, I think learning that, I'm trying to think of how to put this. Like, things that you had previously formed opinions about may not be as built up in real life as they are in your head. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like there were a few things that I went through as a 25-year-old that I had entered the experience with a preconceived kind of formulated thought about it. Like, I know what this is. I'm either excited about it or I'm not, or I hold this to a certain regard. And then I do it, and it's not that at all. It's more of just like understanding that life and like the circumstances of how random life is applies to everything, no matter how much of an opinion or conclusion you might have formed prior.
Yeah. I do feel like mid-20s is such an age, like you figure it out in different circumstances as a younger person, but like mid-20s is really you're in that period of like everyone fully expects you to be an adult, and you are still sort of still letting go of like your young person habits and like trying to be an adult, but also feeling like you're failing at being an adult, and like not wanting to be an adult but wanting to be an adult. And it's just a weird age.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. Like, there are a lot of moments when you're like, I'm young. Like, I'm in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm not supposed to have it figured out. But then there are other moments when you're like, fuck, like, I'm in my mid-20s. I should have some shit figured out.
But there's like these moments in any parts of your 20s where, just like you said, things just don't work or happen the way that you thought that they would. And I think that whole decade, I'm only, 2 years out of it, but like that whole decade is really you learning how to take your expectations of life versus your actuality of life, and then making things work for you, because every kid has these ideas of what their life's going to look like at a certain age, or as a teenager, what you think. And then, you have a bunch of setbacks, or you get blown off course, or, things out of your control happen. And it's all about figuring out how to pick yourself back up and make your reality the best you can, Yeah. And try and stay sane during it and have a positive attitude. Because it gets real easy in there to just get really, really discouraged, I feel like.
Yeah. And I think being 25 and turning to 26 is characterized, like, nicely by how I just, like, didn't care about my birthday this year.
That's what I said to you.
And it's true. It wasn't a joke, and I wasn't trying to, like, whatever. It was just, like, I genuinely, the topic of my birthday was just, like, oh, I don't know. It doesn't excite me. And not in like a depressing, like, oh, I'm getting old and grumpy kind of way. It's just like, when you're young and your birthday is this magical time, and like you look forward to it, and you have these high expectations. But I think it goes back to the expectations thing about just like life, that like you learn that expectations,
that's what's causing the root of some of your unhappiness in life.
Yeah, expectations can be bad.
You're holding yourself to this thing you had in your mind that doesn't even make any sense now that you're here, you know? So let go of them and then just try and enjoy yourself. Yeah. But I did when I was like, Julian, what do you want to do for your birthday? And you were like, I don't know. Maybe go out to dinner or, something really like you're twisting my arm over here. I don't think we can make that happen, But even like, okay, so several years ago, we had a big party at the house. Like RHPC was here, like our friends, and you have these years where you'd be really disappointed if you didn't see your friends for your birthday or, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then last year it was like, all right, and even it's like a more adult version of that. Like it was a big year though. 25, I feel like, it's like one of those landmark sort of birthdays where you'd like to celebrate it a little more than others. And so we had
23 was the keg party. 24, you took me to Joshua Tree.
Oh, that's right.
So we skipped a year of parties. And then 25 last year was the bar.
We went to a bar with a bunch of friends, but still not like tons of friends.
It was moderate group, like not a lot of people, but all very close people
that do jujitsu.
I had a lot of jujitsu friends there.
I had a lot of like people grabbing me by my sweatshirt.
You act like when you meet someone who does jujitsu, they automatically just like start gripping you.
That's how they greet you.
It's not how they. We're not a different like tribe.
Yes, you are. You're like a secret society, and that's your handshake. Society. Okay. You grab each other by the sweatshirt and the neck here, and then you say, "Oh, it's a toy."
Okay, for a secret society, that's a pretty big giveaway for a handshake. It's not very much of a secret if you see someone do that. You're like, okay, what the hell was that? Can you explain the shit that you just did to him?
Wait, can you do it to me at the same time? Like this? Nice to meet you. Yeah, that's not very secretive.
No, if anything, it would be something along like a cuff grip, like right there. That's more subtle.
That's terrifying. Yeah. Oh my god.
Hey, jiu-jitsu, that's very easy to turn a jiu-jitsu club into a secret society. Now that you think about it. Because you're already meeting regularly. Right. You already have that carved out where people don't raise an eyebrow.
You already all wear the same thing.
Yeah, we're already in uniform. We're in our...
Well, that's only if it's gi jiu-jitsu.
Oh, yeah, no gi is a whole different cult.
And so is butt-ass naked jiu-jitsu.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing that I'm aware of.
That's my favorite thing to ask you. You want to go no gi? Like just butt naked? You want to get in here?
No.
I did think it was really interesting though, because ever since I've known you, since you were, it's 6 years now that I've known you. You've always...
You said since you were 6.
What?
I thought you said since you were 6.
No. You've always hung out with people that are older than you.
Yeah.
And it's because you're a mature person and you see value in people that handle themselves in a way that you admire, Like I don't see you hanging out with people that don't push you in some sort of way. And as I've watched you, grow into the person that you are, it's like you found this jiu-jitsu gym and I'm like, cool, yeah, I can't wait to meet your friends, because it had been like a year or two that you'd been going there and you're like, I really want you to meet my friend Jason or like Coach and stuff. And I meet all these people, like I hear about them, but then I meet them and I realize that they're all like mid-40s, like they all have kids, they're like some cops, like people that need to train in self-defense. And you come home and you'll talk about them, like they're people that you just relate to. But on paper, it's always so funny to me that I'm like, all right, here's Julian. Like, even the first time I met you, like, yeah, here's one of my best friends. His name's Mark, and he's a 40-year-old man. And it's funny because I think that you're just like, you identify and relate to people that will push you and inspire you. And like, that's what you like in people. And that's what draws people to you and you to people. And that's like, I've watched a lot of people get excited about your energy and helping you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you have knowledge, right, or something where you could help someone, no one likes a lazy student that is just sort of like half listening to you. And when someone takes like a genuine interest in something that you're doing and is really excited and really wants to do it, like you are that person in so many different things that I've watched you try or do or succeed in. Like, when you were doing Olympic weightlifting and, you quickly just excel in whatever you put your mind to, because you're an Aries, and that's not the only reason, but you know what I mean, you're just an excited student of whatever you're focusing your energy into, and you like attract people that have something to teach you, I feel like, because that like it's so exciting to teach someone that is so thirsty and so appreciative, and you are that.
I mean, that honestly feels like a really nice compliment, so thank you. I appreciate that you said that about me. I mean, I really do feel like as a person who, in college and past college, I wasn't really in a large group of friends ever, right? Like even in high school, I only had like a handful of friends. And as I transitioned to sort of being a young adult in college and in the workplace, like I got really lucky. Like I met some really, really great people who, were a lot older than me, but they also saw that I was willing to learn. Brett is a great example. Brett is a big reason why, this whole concept is a big reason why I'm very close friends with Brett, and now you are too, is because I've gotten lucky to meet people like Brett, like Mark, who have recognized that I'm just willing to learn. That's really kind of all it started with. And then the time of day that I'm given by people who are much wiser and older transitions into friendship. And then all of a sudden, all my friends are 10, 20 years older than me. And that's great because, I feel like that's a big reason why I vibed with you and why I was able to kind of catch up in a certain sense. Even though I'm younger than you, I feel like older is where I want to be with people. And yeah, and like the jiu-jitsu thing is so funny because like my friend Jason, he's 35 from jiu-jitsu, and we're boys. Like I like we have conversations and like we talk about life and everything. It doesn't really register that even matters because if you're willing to listen to someone, if you're willing to talk to someone, relate to someone, and learn from them, like I think you have more to gain than someone your exact age.
I agree.
It's like when you talk to your wise grandparents and you're listening to stories, and if you want to listen, you're going to gain some wisdom, but it's like that on a smaller scale.
Well, I mean, I feel like a lot of people obviously hang out with people that are older and have conversations with people that are older. I've just never met anyone who's like, majority of friends are all at least 5 years older than them. At least 5.
Yeah.
But that's really...
I skew up.
You skew up. You really do. But I like even to this day, like when I watched you with the Twitch stream, you then taught me, but originally you had completely taught yourself the entire sort of ropes to the streaming world. And I continue to watch you reach out to people that you admire, that you know are good at what they do professionally, and you just have this way of really genuinely approaching people and acknowledging that they are a master at something and if they'd ever be willing to teach you something. Like I watch your friendship with Matt Joes, who does, hyperlapses and time lapses, and I don't, how old is Matt Joes?
Matt Joes, I think he's 28.
Yeah, but I mean like
27, 28. Yeah.
Matt Joes is wonderful. I adore him. But, like, it's probably not... Well, maybe it is now. Maybe not when you reached out to him. Because you found him on Reddit, right?
Yeah, I found him on Reddit, and I never really reached out. I sort of just became, like, a silent viewer.
Yeah.
So I subscribed to his channel. I, like, binge-watched his whole fucking channel. And I would silently watch for, like, a year. And then I finally, like, left a comment.
Right.
And he, like, found me, and then we connected. But, yeah. Like I think that when you have a particular skill and someone is like, man, that is so fucking cool. Would you ever mind, teaching me some stuff? Yeah. It's incredibly flattering. And you're like, yeah, dude, I would love to. Yeah. It would be my pleasure. Yeah. And I also feel like when you, like, if you treat that opportunity when you reach out to someone as like, don't do that to everyone. It's special when you do that so that it comes from a more genuine place of interest and intrigue. Like I feel like that what that feels like when someone reaches out to you and you're like, hey Jenna, like you're like the best of the best at this one thing, and I just want you to know that I really admire that you do it so well, and if you'd ever be willing to maybe give me some tips, I'd appreciate it.
I get some of that sometimes on YouTube. I
don't mean from a random. I mean from a person you've had an acquaintance with or a friend or something.
I think for friends or people that I know, the majority of the conversations sort of end up on education.
Well, you're a master at education.
I'm a literal master.
Hey! You're a nunchuck dojo daddy master at education.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just...
That shit's crazy to me, and you glaze over that pretty easily every time someone asks, but you got your master's in 1 year? 1 year. Yeah. That's nuts.
It's called a fast track program. It was absolutely insane.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So like, can you break down, because I don't know for an undergrad, I know the credits and stuff and how that all works out. What does it look like for a master's degree? Like what's the traditional length of time that you would spend?
2 years.
2 years. And you did it in half the time. And like compare that to undergrad. Like how is it different? How is it the same? Just structurally, like.
Structurally, you still have classes.
Yeah.
You still go to classes. You still write papers. And I'm just speaking for my program. For your, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's like if you would like to go to medical school or law school.
It's probably really fucking hard.
Yeah. I mean, I've had friends do both, and you basically just say goodbye to them for about 3 to 5 years.
Or law school.
Yeah, law school too.
Yeah.
But for me, it was the easy transition from undergraduate was that you still go to classes and have a schedule like you usually would. So on my first day, I'm pumped, right? Like, I'm excited. I'm squishing in basically 2 years into 1 year. And so I have a fair amount of classes, But still, I'm like, all right, there's some time in here when I'm going to be able to maybe have a part-time job or, keep my part-time job. My part-time jobs were at night for the most part because I was go-go dancing, bartending, that kind of thing. So I wasn't super concerned about that. But, maybe I could pick up a shift at the tanning salon or something, or you know what I mean, during the day on these certain days. So I get my schedule, and classes are no longer like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:30 to 10:30. You know how you have like some classes that are shorter and some that are longer, or
Depending
whatever.
on how often you have them.
No, all your classes are like 3 hours.
Yeah, and how many times a week? Well, for you, it's probably different than the average master's program.
I don't remember, but almost all my classes were like 3 hours
Like
at a time.
lecture hall.
Yeah, not lecture halls.
Oh, just they were 3 hours. Like normal classes were 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of people. That's another big difference.
That's also interesting.
But I mean, Suffolk, for me, my undergraduate was small, so I was used to small classes. But I'm saying, like, some of them, like, I would have to take a bus to go to the medical school to do a fair amount of my classes because it is a psychology degree. So I was studying in Boston University Medical School for some of them. And you're in there sort of with people that might go on to get an LMHC or like get certified mental health counselor, or they might go on to get a PhD and become a psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever. But the other portion of my classes were a mix in between the School of Sciences and then sort of where the sports and that sort of thing was. And like within our program, like the people in my program, there's only, I think 13 people.
Shit.
So and even that was broken into subgroups of my advisor and the other advisor, who was her husband, who's magical. So we would have, a 3-hour-long class of the 6 of us sitting and talking about our internships. So that was when I first get my schedule, I'm like, okay, this seems totally doable. They're long classes, but like the schedule is not completely out of control.
Yeah.
And then your first, sitting down with your advisor is like, all right, today we're placing you in your internships. And that's going to take up every hour that isn't filled up with a class. And then that's when it hit me like, oh, shit.
This is what I'm doing.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Because like in undergrad, it's like, depending on your major, it's like, okay, here's what the internships traditionally, involve, and here are some different companies, and do them if you want or whatever. Like if you want credits for that.
Yeah,
but it's not like you're hustling at your fucking internships every day like you are at class, because that's insane.
Well, and like, we had a couple of internships. Yeah. So like in the mornings on certain days, but like a lot of days, I was going over to the middle school, high school that I was working at.
In the city.
And teaching in Jamaica Plain and teaching kids physical responsibility or social responsibility through physical activity. So we worked with the baseball and softball teams. That would be very early in the morning, and then classes all day. And then I would have an internship at night where I worked with BU student athletes, where you talk to them like a performance enhancement, like that kind of thing. Because the idea behind having all these different internships is figuring out what you're good at. Because there's a difference between what you're good at and what you like. You know what I mean? So
that's it. Honestly, it makes so much more sense than the traditional, like, get an internship and then be done with it. Because, like, if you don't like it, then what the fuck are you wasting your time on, right? You're not seeing if there's another option out there while you're trying that.
Yeah. So it's very different than undergraduate in that maybe you might get an internship as an upperclassman, doing something sort of related to something that you're doing, or, it's an unpaid whatever,
Yeah.
Parts of our program are structured to sit down and talk about your internships and how they're going and how you can do better and how you can actually practice what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Just like a regular checkup of where you're at with all the shit you're doing.
Yeah. And it was high key awesome. So,
that's insane, dude.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then I worked at night. So it was a lot.
To fucking feed yourself.
To feed myself, yeah. Yes, to feed myself.
But that hustle is crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy.
It was wild. But anyways, that was a weird tangent. But basically, I feel like most people that ask me questions are along the lines of higher education. I don't really have a lot of people asking me, unless they're like close friends or people that, you know, genuinely ask me questions what I think, even though I have a very, I would say, independent view. Like, I do a lot of things differently than other people on the internet, I would say. But for the most part, it's people asking me about education.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that they don't know anybody that's gone to graduate school, let alone college for some people.
You were the first person I had
valuable
met.
to have someone's advice, you know?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're the first person I met that I've actually known about, like, you know, that you went to graduate school. And then my sister did after a few years later. But no, it's super fucking interesting because, and that's why I like asked you, like, logistically, like, what does it look like? Because I don't think a lot of people know that.
Oh, it's just every hour of every day, you know?
So
like,
insane.
no joke, every hour of every day.
Like, it's like basically like college, but if you replace the social and fun part of college with more college.
Yeah.
And compress it into a year or 2 years.
In undergraduate, for me, like a lot of people, you know, you're the first thing that my softball coach said to me was, you're going to have more free time than you've ever had in your life. And I sort of half believed her. And then when I got my class schedule, I was like, you know, you're right. Because what the fuck do you do with this? Like, you can schedule your classes from 9 to 12 or 9 to 1 in one day, knock them all out. And then you have like all these hours in the afternoon. So a lot of people get part-time jobs. Or for me, that was never a thing because you have to schedule all your classes between 8 a.m. and 12 or 1.
For all your softball obligations.
Because then practice was every day in the afternoon. Yeah. So, I mean, that was a lot too. Yeah. But I mean, going from that sort of structure in undergraduate, and then all of obviously your weekends are all practice. All of your spring break is all travel. All of your holidays are basically either travel or training. Like, you go home, but you also have this book of weight training that you need to execute before you come back. You can't come back out of shape and a mess. Hide that shit. Yeah, no, you can't. But I think that's what made that transition easier for me, is that my days had already been packed from sometimes 5 a.m. to, 8, 9, 10 p.m. Yeah. And then you get home and you have to feed yourself and do all your homework.
Damn, dude. That's crazy. I did an internship. You know about this. I did an internship for a whole summer, like basically a spring and a summer. Yeah. And never went in time to get them to sign my internship papers. So I waited like a half a year and I went back and they had gone out of business. So they were nowhere. So it was the internship that wasn't. It literally like didn't exist.
Didn't I help you get a college credit at the end of
You did? Yeah. You did. Because I was in that pickle where I had fucked up by doing the internship, but then forgetting to get the signatures in time because I was like, I'll get them when I get them.
Yeah, but that wasn't even your fault. Didn't the company like shut down?
They shut down. Yeah. All their emails stopped working. I couldn't find any contact. It was IBN Sports. There's actually a few clips on YouTube of me doing stuff for them.
That's not your fault. Like, you still should have gotten that credit. You did the full internship.
Yeah, so I'm like sitting there putting my credits together and like things aren't adding up. And I'm like, oh, I need my fucking internship credits. Fuck. So I'm like, okay, I reach out to them like, hey, can you guys just please sign this and send it back? Like,
no response.
Nothing. No response. Again, nothing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to like Google it really quick. IBN Sports. Did I spell it right? IBNsports.com. Domain not found. What? I was there for a summer. I literally moved into my college like apartment for the summer. Like when all my roommates went home and I like had my own room. Like I was just sitting there by myself and going to and from fucking work basically in a tie and doing busy fucking work all day, and it didn't count for anything. And so I was like, okay, well, I can go out and get another fucking internship. But at the time, that's like right when you allowed me to start like kind of and teaching me like to start helping you with your videos, whether it was like, watching you edit and kind of learning your style or holding the camera or whatever, like being basically your PA. And I had been doing that for a few months by the time this had happened. And you were like, well, like, you fucking help me all the time. Like, I have a business. I can just give you the internship credits for interning for me. And we like literally made it official. We filled out the forms and everything, and I got it certified. And you kind of saved my butt a little bit because that shit sucked. But yeah, no, on my college credit, I was an official intern for J Marbles.
But I mean, we laugh at it because it is funny in hindsight.
Yeah.
But did you or did you not learn more working for me as an internship
than I did for IBM Sports?
Yeah, I mean,
oh my
hourly, you got obviously the bulk of your hours for that internship on a Wednesday. You know, there's a lot of hours that go into that day. But
I learned how much time could be wasted in a professional work environment at IBM Sports because, like, if you're like an intern or a lower level employee, there's so much time that is just wasted that you can just be like, because like one part of our job was like scrubbing through game footage to find highlights, which if you think about it, like, how do you monitor how someone's working if they're doing that all day? I come back to you with 5 highlights. Who knows? Like, where's the scale? Who knows if I should have gotten 10 or 20 or 30 or 1?
Yeah.
Like, depending on the games I watch, what if they were just boring games? Like, there's no structure in place to, like, make sure people are doing quality work. So a lot of times I would be, like, fucking killing it. I'd be, like, finding these great clips and putting shit together and recording my own VOs and whatever. And then other times I'd be like, hello? Like, does anyone care that I'm fucking doing this? Like, I'm not getting paid. I know that.
Yeah.
And the internship credit's going to look like an internship credit, regardless if I get 5 highlights out of this fucking tape or 20, unless you don't fill out the forms, Julian.
Joke's on you.
Yeah. But, like, that's one thing I did learn from them. But back to your point, like, 100%, like, the shit I learned when I first started, you know, learning from you and you started letting me help you with the videos and stuff is shit that has helped me so much in my work now. And, like, we're both self-taught, but like you taught me your way of editing, and that's been crazy helpful. Not just editing, like the whole 9.
Yeah. That was pretty funny, though.
Sports. The model of that business was set to fail. I mean, it was basically an ESPN for high school sports. Like, who wants to, besides the parents?
I will say that one thing about, like, transitioning from 18, 19, 20, 21, like college age to mid-20s and then mid-20s to like 30s is like, I find that I care less about a lot of stuff, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, like I think about the things that used to make me so angry when I was younger and like they just don't bother me anymore. Like it takes a, you know, really, really, really valid reason for me to be like outrageously upset about something.
Yeah.
It's a much nicer way to live your life.
Yeah.
You know?
It really is. There's some peace to that.
Mm-hmm. Like, there's fucked up shit that happens all the time, everywhere, nonstop.
Yeah.
I can't stand a lot of people. There's a lot of fucking shit out there that I don't fucking like.
Yeah.
But what I don't need to do is waste my time and energy thinking about it or talking about it or anything, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. I think one of the things that you gain with age is just a level of perspective with everything.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't make problems out in the world less of problems. And it doesn't make bad guys less bad, but it does make your daily life and your outlook like a little less fucking hindered by the shit that's everywhere. Like you're able to kind of just like filter things out and not really pay so much emotion and attention to things that you previously had done or something. I don't know.
Well, I think too, like when we talk about as we get older, like what you want for your birthday. When you think about like a 2-year-old, right? Think about a 2-year-old.
Okay.
When they turn from 1 to 2, that year was half of their entire life. Like, it feels like a long-ass fucking time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm just struggling to, like, keep my head up. This has been
literally, like, tummy time.
I have been a baby forever. First of all, my whole life I've been a baby. But the first half of it was brutal. And I was upset the entire time. And then, like, a 5-year-old, 1 year is 1/5 of your life, you know? So it feels like a really long time to you. But, you know, once you're 26 or 31, it's like
what's
a year
another piece of the pie?
But the years start to feel shorter and shorter because it's 1/30 of your life or 1/26 of your life.
Portion of,
And what you really start to value is your time, you know? And your the people that you're with and stuff like that. It's no longer about this idea of what your birthday was. It's like when I turned 30 and 31, 29, 30, 31, all of them, you like, what do you want? I want to do nothing.
Yeah.
I want me time. I am a Virgo. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to snuggle in a blanket on my couch and chill.
Yeah.
Because that's what I value at this point in my life is that those times when I'm like, I'm snuggled and chilling.
I think the birthday is a great example of like valuing time as you grow up though, because sure, like directly around the birthday, like your birthday week, the Saturday, you know, what do you want to spend that time on as an adult? Like, what would you choose to do with your time? Like, it's a great small example, but like, I feel like broadening that concept to like, as 25 and 26 and 27 come in your life, like, that's one thing that I feel like I've really, you know, sort of had to deal with learning in a good and bad and tough and easy way as a 25-year-old moving to 26 is like, you are responsible 1000% for the time that you spend doing anything and spending your time with certain people or without certain people or reaching out to certain people or not reaching out or keeping to yourself or spending time on work or your body or whatever it is. That time becomes like so much more intense, and there's such a magnifying glass over that time when you get older because it's like no one else is going to be fucking responsible for it except for you, and you start to learn the little tiny ramifications that add up into the big changes in your life based on how you spend that time. And there's a lot of good that can come of that, but there's also a lot of like really sad times, you know. Like one thing for me is like, you know, when you lose someone in your mind, you're like, man, I wish I could have spent more time with them. And that sort of thing comes from good things and it also comes from bad things. But it's also like a moment of like realization that you are responsible for your time. And that's the same for everyone on earth. It's just when you're younger, you don't necessarily have the tools to deal with that by yourself. You need help. But like, yeah, like that's one of the biggest things I've learned as like a mid-20s person. It's like my time is so important and I am so, you know, responsible. I have such a responsibility to spend my time wisely if I want my life to be the way I want it to be. So yeah, I think the birthday thing is like really indicative of like where your mindset is right now, or my mindset is right now.
Well, you just let me know what you want to do on Tuesday. It's your day. But we already did go out to dinner and we got you it's called Shojin in Los Angeles, in Culver City. It's vegan and gluten-free sushi. It exists. It exists.
By the time this
Second
episode,
time we've been there.
By the time this episode goes up, my Instagram story will still be live. I'm serious. So if you want to see, like I snapped every single dish we had, and I even tagged the place. But yeah, it's this place, this hole in the wall sushi restaurant in Culver City that has vegan and gluten-free everything on the menu. Yeah, and it's sushi.
Not open Mondays or Tuesdays, so that's why we couldn't go for Julian's birthday.
Just like,
ever. No Mondays or Tuesdays.
Just like the sandboarding place in Bruno, Idaho. Not open Mondays or Tuesdays for no fucking reason.
And they're only open for dinner. And,
yeah, you got a reservation online and whatever.
It's relatively expensive, but it's your birthday. And like, they don't do takeout. It's only dine-in only. So, like, we can only go there and have a dining experience.
And we've gone there twice, both on my birthday, I think.
But that's what keeps it special and nice and fun. And you really, really enjoy that food.
Yeah. Yeah.
When she says, does anyone have any food allergies? And we're all like, just Julian celiac. And they're like, okay, perfect. Amazing.
Perfect.
Because everything there is vegan and gluten-free. But they even cater to like people that have garlic allergies, onion allergies, soy allergies, nut allergies.
I think it's all nut free.
Yeah.
I think.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, anyway, thank you for having a chat with me. This was nice. Thank you for spending 6 years of your life and hopefully a lot more.
The best ones I've ever had.
Same here. Ditto. Love you.
I love you too. Happy birthday, Julian.
Thank you.
You're a wonderful person. We're lucky to know you.
Thank you for allowing me to grow into an adult and be a little bit behind you, but like catching up. And it's, I mean, especially online, like with you guys listening, like this has been a great journey. And it's crazy to look back and where I was when I started filming myself and now where I'm at now. It's, you know, the content.
It's only going to get weirder and cooler and like more
bizarre.
Embarrassing. I promise you.
But like vlog 1, I'm on a bike. Like what the fuck was I doing? Like what was my life about then? It's completely crazy and different. But thank you guys, you know, I've already gotten some birthday wishes, even though y'all are early as fuck. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast. The support has been insane, you know, lately, and exceedingly insane. You know, this podcast has felt more and more special the longer we do it. So thank you guys for hanging out. for 26 years of a podcast. Thank you. This is the longest running podcast on iTunes. You're welcome. We have been going for 26 straight years, uploading every day. It's the world record. No.
That's not true.
No. That was a lie. I got excited.
All right. Well, you just let me know what you want for your birthday, and then we'll do that because you deserve it.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you guys for spending my birthday with me. Hope you guys have a wonderful week.
Bye, Diggs.
I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.